In 1984, a frantic fervor was rekindled by the Philadelphia Eagles. There was renewed pride in a team whose spark was ignited by a defense that preyed upon its opponents. While they dazed them on defense, the Eagles were often dazzling with their passing offense. Yet what the Philly faithful admired most in their Eagles was a fighting spirit, a spirit which enabled them to rebound from heartbreaking defeats and injuries to stand proudly on the brink of success. That fighting spirit defined the Eagles' identity in 1984. And throughout the season, they carved a reputation as the team that battled back. The Eagles were poised to prove that the light at the end of the tunnel would be progress in 1984. But that progress was impeded by a bitter one-point loss to the New York Giants on opening day. Philadelphia endured 3 more defeats as victories seemed to slip through their grasp all too easily. Following a 20-0 setback at the hands of the Redskins, the 1-4 Eagles' hopes for a bright future seemed dim.
A lot of teams, a lot of people, a lot of magazines wrote us off, but they weren't the ones that were on the field, and they weren't the ones that were going through the hard times with us. And we decided to start looking at ourselves individually and what we could do to help the team. And I think we pulled it all together when Coach Campbell said, hey, we're better than what our record shows. He's like a father figure to a lot of the guys, and this being his second year as a coach, everybody wanted to do well, especially coming from a defensive coordinator. And I think that was the pride of the defense right there.
Pride helped the Eagles overcome their sluggish start as the defense became the catalyst for the team's resurgence. Against Buffalo in Week 5, the Eagles served notice that they were a team to be reckoned with. While the defense shut down the Bills' attack, Ron Jaworski opened up the Eagles' offense, throwing for 2 touchdowns. When the gutsy Jaworski challenged the Bills head-on, Philadelphia secured a 27-17 victory. Jaworski suffered a painful rib injury, but the league's most durable passer battled back the following week against Indianapolis. With his hot hand still sizzling, he burned the Colts for almost 200 yards in just 1/2 of play. Suddenly, the Eagles were looking toward their first 3-game winning streak in 3 years and were once again on the road to respectability. That road began at home, where the fans never wavered in their support. But the team had yet to get their hands on a truly formidable foe. Perhaps the playoff-bound Giants were expecting to meet the same team they had burned for 4 touchdowns in Week 1. Instead, the visitors encountered a high-flying act which completely grounded them. While the Eagle defense zeroed in on Phil Simms, Ron Jaworski found an inviting target in fleet-footed Kenny Jackson, number 81. The team's number 1 draft pick flashed his game-breaking potential as he left defenders in the dust on an 83-yard score. But Jackson's heroics were short-lived as he suffered a separated shoulder that would sideline him for 5 weeks. Once again, the Birds bounced back with capable replacements: Vito Cab, Greg Garrity, number 85 Melvin Hoover, and Tony Woodruff, number 83.
It's going to throw over the middle, completes the pass, running in for a touchdown is Tony Woodruff.
The 24-10 victory showcased the Eagles' depth at wide receiver. But standing tall among the pack is Mike Quick, the hands-on favorite to dismantle a defense. He has the moves and the speed to turn a game into a one-man thrill show.
Mike is very fast. Mike is very quick. Mike is very physical. He really has no weakness in his game. Some guys won't go across the middle. Some guys won't block on running plays. Some guys, just don't have the speed to get by people. They run precision routes. Mike can really do it all. Mike just has that innate ability to do something instinctively, to go after the football. He can really ignite a whole football team.
The man they call Quick Six exploded for a 90-yard touchdown en route to another 1,000-yard receiving season and a second ticket to the Pro Bowl. Recognition that this Eagle stands tall at the height of his game. At midseason, Philadelphia paid homage to 11 former Eagles who are enshrined in the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Two-way in from Indiana, Pete Beal.
Among that esteemed group is Steve Van Buren, whose career rushing yardage and attempt records were eclipsed this season by Wilbert Montgomery. After a serious knee injury in 1983, Montgomery rode the comeback trail, taking the reins of the running game to lead the team in rushing for the 6th time. Number 31 also displayed his open field explosiveness while recording a personal high 60 receptions. Montgomery provided flashes of brilliance in a season otherwise disappointing for its rushing output.
The give to Montgomery, off left tackle to the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, touchdown Montgomery!
Wilbert always has something to give to the fans, but it was uncertain whether teammate John Spagnola would be able to give anything to anyone after being sidelined in 1983 with a possible career-ending injury. Spagnola rebounded in a big way, snaring 65 passes, tops among NFC tight ends. Spagnola's drive made him the Eagles' MVP on the field. His compassion makes him an MVP off it.
Hike! Just a few years ago, these kids found out they had leukemia and that there was no cure. Today, they are living proof that this disease can be beaten. Thanks to your support of Eagles Fly for Leukemia, more kids are winning against cancer than ever.
Spagnola is a pillar of the community, just as he is a source of support for both the young and the old on the Eagles.
One nice thing is when you have new people, they show enthusiasm that is raw and really untarnished in any way whatsoever. And I think the older guys help the younger guys out, and the younger guys are very enthusiastic, and it's really provided a very healthy chemistry on our team.
For most 12th round draft choices, it is a long and lonely road to even making the team. But Paul McFadden's travels took him all the way to NFC Rookie of the Year. He led the league in field goals and rewrote the Eagle record books for points scored in a season. His may be a Cinderella story, but his teammates liken him more to the Man of Steel.
Paul McFadden is probably like a Superman of our team. the Clark Kent of all players on the team. You look at him, you say, this man plays professional football, but he's probably the best kicker in the league. He came in and just tore it up. A couple times things went wrong here and there, but not too many times. We had it blocked against Miami. He still held together, and Ron Jaworski helped him a lot of times, and that just shows we'll just help out the younger player, and younger players will come back and help our team.
Thanks to another special teamer who made his mark as well, the Eagles were able to get a leg up on their competition. Punter Mike Horan is a former electrical engineer, and when his left leg booted the ball, he sent shock waves through the opposition. His towering punts were often too hot to handle, and when a return man did get his hands on one, he paid dearly, thanks to the excellent coverage afforded by players such as Michael Haddix and special teams captain Major Everett. Also running under Horan's precisely pointed punts were Dave Pasella, Lawrence Sampleton, and number 55, Mike Reichenbach. Ever on the lookout for an innovative edge, the Eagles often took the opportunity to juggle their players and add some fancy footwork to their special teams repertoire. Their handiwork wasn't bad either, as they deflected 3 punts. When this block resulted in a touchdown by Rich Cranack, number 52, the Eagles proved they had the determination to create the big plays when they needed to, and the teamwork to make them count. With a solid, reliable veteran like Ron Jaworski at the helm, the Eagles sailed smoothly as a one-quarterback team. While on the field, Jaws steers the Eagles clear of rough waters. On the sidelines, first mate Joe Pisarcik is valuable as both understudy and cheerleader. But it is Jaworski who charts the course of the offense once the ball is snapped. His rifle arm shot his career passing totals over the 20,000-yard mark in 1984. And his leadership qualities enabled Jaworski to bring out the best in younger players. All quarterbacks endure pressure, but Jaworski continually rises above it. When he succumbed to injury, Dean May, number 5, and Joe Pisarcik, number 9, answered the distress call. Pisarcik is cut from the same mold as Jaworski and proved it when he became the first player other than number 7 to open at quarterback for the Eagles since 1976. Against New England, Pisarcik led the Eagles to a hard-fought win and the team's 5th victory at home after only one in 1983. While Pisarcik and Jaworski solidified the passing attack, the young offensive line, minus ailing veteran Jerry Sizemore, often endured growing pains. But the combination of Dean Maraldi, Steve Kenny, Mark Dennard, Ron Baker, and Leonard Mitchell showed promise at pass blocking. With the help of Hubie Oliver, number 34, they opened up sight lanes that led straight to the end zone. While Oliver was solid as a blocker, he was bruising at fullback. The ground attack struggled for much of the season, But Mike Williams, Andre Hardy, and Michael Haddock's number 26 pointed to future development when the Eagles pounded Miami for 177 rushing yards. The blocking was crisp, and Jaworski was razor sharp against the then undefeated AFC champions as the Eagles put on one of their best offensive performances of the year. Jaworski brought his team to the brink of an upset, but the Eagles suffered a bitter one-point loss. They had passed a crucial test of character, but a sterner test was still to come. When Ron Jaworski went down with a broken leg, the team battled back from its greatest adversity. And there is every reason to believe he will return healthy next season, thanks to the miracle workers in the Eagles training room.
I can feel it working! I can feel it! I'm healed! Whoa!
Hey, defense, listen up now. Keep the damn pressure on them. Keep the heat coming. Don't let that 7 get to you.
The real miracles of the 1984 season were worked by Marion Campbell and his hustling, stifling defense.
All right, keep at it now. Keep going.
This unit ranked 27th in the league after 5 weeks, but then suddenly started to click. Providing the spark was the defensive line, anchored by Ken Clark, Greg Brown, and Dennis Harrison, number 68. These three collected 38 of the team record 60 sacks. No trio of down linemen totaled more. Greg Brown was a deadly weapon who could be launched from all over the field, even flat on the turf. Defensive MVP Ken Clark consistently broke through double coverage to ravage quarterbacks. Providing support on the line were Harvey Armstrong, number 96, Tom Struthers, and Byron Darby, number 94. The perfect complement to the pass rush was the tenacious play of the linebacking core, which includes number 59, Joel Williams. Number 56, Jerry Robinson, was the leading tackler for the third straight year, despite a nagging shoulder injury. While he bottled up both blocker and running back on the inside, Jody Schultz and Reggie Wilkes, number 51, dished out the punishment from the outside. Anthony Griggs, number 58, often appeared out of nowhere to make the big play. Greater pressure up front and tighter pass coverage in the secondary produced a menacing mix. Herman Edwards moved into second place on the Eagles' list for career interceptions. Bernard Wilson, Roynell Young, and Elbert Fowles turned passing games topsy-turvy, while Wes Hopkins and number 24 Ray Ellis, the team leader in interceptions, were a terrifying tandem at safety. Hitman Hopkins, number 48, could hurt an opponent with a sack or a steal. The Eagle defense had returned to the swarming, daring style molded by Marion Campbell in the late 70s, but they had yet to beat the elite of the NFL. In Week 12, a fired-up defense went on the warpath against a team they hadn't defeated in their last 6 meetings, the Washington Redskins. They pillaged the Redskins for 6 turnovers and limited them to their lowest point total since 1982. And once the Eagles' special teams went on a rampage, the Redskins were facing a 16-10 deficit.
Jeff Hayes hits it. It is fading to the far side of the field. It is taken by Andre Waters. Waters up across the 20. Gets free at the 25-30. Andre Waters 35-40.
Waters' return appeared to end the drought against Washington, but with the Redskins threatening on the final drive, the defense delivered the decisive blow.
3rd and 7, 10 seconds left. Theismann is back. He's under a rush. Now steps up, fires, intercepted. Intercepted by the Eagles, Elbert Fowles. Elbert Fowles picks it off with 4 seconds left, and he holds the ball. He holds the ball to the Redskins, and he's going to run to the sideline as the Eagles are going to wrap up a win today. Elbert Fowles picks it off, and that's going to be all she wrote with 4 seconds left. Upset City today here at the Vet, and the crowd is loving it.
It's about time, damn it. Woo. It's been a long dry spell against those people. Hey. Oh, man. Hell of a ball game. Huh? You deserved it. Oh, did you? Sure.
To fight through a season like we have and the battles we've had to come up for the past few weeks and sustain to get the consistency that we're looking for, pay it off today and a win. Total team effort. I'm so proud of our guys for hanging through. They just fought like hell to win. That was a tough football game on both sides today. Redskins are a great football team, and just a good, tough battle today.
In 1984, the Philadelphia Eagles survived a rocky takeoff and embarked on a journey that may soon have them soaring to greater heights. They defied the odds, earned respect, and proved themselves to be the team that battled back.